think that we are alone? Do you think life has evolved on other planets orbiting stars? Some sort of life?
I feel like there has to be life, but I suspect it's so different to us that we don't recognize it.
Are we alone in the cosmos?
No, I don't believe we're alone in the cosmos.
You think there's other conscious life somewhere around other stars?
I think that it would be very egotistical of us to believe that we're the only galaxy.
How about are we alone in the cosmos?
I think the question of are we alone in the cosmos speaks to the psyche saying, I'm too alone.
Are we alone in the cosmos?
Are we alone in the cosmos? Wow, what a question. I think if we're the only species in this whole experiment of the universe, we have a huge responsibility to get our shit together.
Do you think we're alone in the cosmos?
No. I don't have any, I have no concrete evidence, but I think I just want to believe there's other things out there.
Yeah. Does it inspire you to think that?
Yeah. Yeah. It'd be so cool.
Do you think we're alone in the cosmos?
Absolutely not. I think that the universe, it would be an awful waste of space.
You think we're alone in the
I think we're alone. Probably. I don't see any, there's no evidence we aren't alone.
Do you think we're alone in the cosmos?
Oh, I'd be surprised if we were. Don't you think it's a lot of hubris to think that?
Are we in a computer simulation?
So I don't think we're in a simulation. I think that we are in a neural network where the hardware, the software, and the simulation output are all one and the same thing.
Do you think we're in a computer simulation?
Well, I think that human beings have to reproduce their consciousness all the time. And in that sense, yes.
Do you think this is base reality or a simulation?
That's a tricky one. I rather like the simulation argument. I think that the impossibility of determining empirically whether you're in a simulation, and the fact that simulations can be iterative, right? That a simulated universe can have, individuals who create their own simulated universe and so on. That leads to the rather attractive conclusion that we're very unlikely to be not a simulation. But there are ways out of that argument.
So are we in a computer simulation?
I think a computer simulation is an oversimplification of what it really is. And I think we don't fully, either we aren't willing to recognize what it really is, or we're afraid to recognize what it really is. But potentially infinite consciousness, experiencing itself through all these different fractals. And the fractals exist of everything. Like there's fractal of you, there's fractal of me, there's fractal of everyone watching this show, and it's all sort of this infinite movie that goes on forever.
Do you think we're in a computer simulation? Do you think this is base reality?
So there's something that's inaccurate and about saying that you're even a person, because when I think about who I am, I think as if I had a trajectory, because I did. But really, I'm not I'm nothing that I ever was. I am, that's included. But I am something new right now that I've never been before. And I don't actually know what I am.
Moment to moment.
Yeah. And I'm only knowing myself in saying this and in being seen and heard by y'all. So there's something really trippy about that. And so in that sense, even my selfhood, even the thing I take to be primary is illusory.
Do you think we're in a computer simulation?
No, I don't think we're in a computer simulation.
You think this is base reality?
I think that that's more of a thought experiment too. Yeah, I think that that's a great way to think about things in order to try to remove your frames.
Do you think we're in a computer simulation?
Our relationship to consciousness is a simulation. We're just waking up to the fact that we perceive time falsely. We think that time is, well, not falsely, it's just relative to the dimension of the age and the dimension of our relationship to consciousness.
Do you think we're in a computer simulation?
And so the real important question that I think we should be asking about the simulation is less, are we in one or not? Because we've already said by setting up the hypothesis that we wouldn't know even if we were, right? So are we in it or not? And does it change the way you behave? Does it actually, inform or instruct the way you act in the world? Do you dwell in the world differently if you think it's just a simulation?
What would you say is the most beautiful thing in the world?
We don't need to create these false constructions of who we are. And I think there's beauty in just the simplicity of being who we are. And we have systems, whether it's in a food system, an energy system, a political system, a transportation system, that makes it really challenging for us, for a clownfish in a sea anemone, for a lion on a savanna, to a dog, to a mountain gorilla, simply to be who we are.
Yeah.
And I think the most beautiful thing is just being who we are. And I think the systems that we build in this world should be supportive of that.
What do you think is the most beautiful thing in the world?
The most beautiful thing in the world, I would have to say, and it could be called something of a secular spirituality, that we, as made up of the things in the universe, birthed by the stars, all of our carbon, that we are how the universe observes itself.
What do you think is the most beautiful thing in the world?
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, we're kind of already touching on it. For me, some of the most beautiful things in the world have to do with connection and human experience that's shared and community and change and growth.
Yeah. What do you think is the most beautiful thing in the world?
Engaging in kind of dialectic conversations that, which we're doing here. But I really mean it. I think
definitely
thinking things through and thinking them through from first principles and also with someone that has an adversarial attitude to yours.
Totally. What do you think is the most beautiful thing in the world?
Oh man, the most beautiful thing in the world. Probably the notion of earned happiness.
What do you think is the most beautiful thing in the world?
The ability to see beauty itself, I think is beautiful.
What do you think is the most beautiful thing in the world?
Well, love. The title of my poetry book is Love is the Question and the Answer. And the power of love when it is, opens doors.
What do you think is the most beautiful thing in the world?
Sunrise.
Why?
Because every time I see the sunrise, I realize that there is still life that is living, and it's a new day, and things can change for the better.
What do you think is the most beautiful thing in the world?
That sense of being present and noticing what's around you, that for me is the most beautiful